Clay Cox is Auburn High School's advertising design teacher and a stand-up comedian. His life was completely ordinary until his students discovered his deepest fear. Corn.
So my name is Claiborne Stinking Cox. So here's the thing, I'm in my 40s now. This started in my 20s when I was a relatively new teacher. There was this kid in my class and his name was Josh Evans. He's a successful engineer now, which I hate. Okay, so Josh one day, he was sitting on the front row and we'll never forget, and he said, "Hey, Mr. Cox, do you like corn, like the vegetable corn?" And I was like, "No, I don't like it. I think it's yucky and I don't like the texture." And he said, "You don't like corn, huh?" And so he sat there and talked about corn for like an hour, about just dumb stuff. Like he would say, "Who's your favorite general in world history? Is it General Cornwallis?" And so like he knew, I didn't like the taste of it. So he wanted to psychologically like stick it into my id or something, you know? And so then him and his table of friends the next week, they would say all these random like corn puns and things like that. They don't even have to do with it. Okay. And so then time goes by. I get to school early, like before school, right? There's no kids there. What the heck? There's an ear of corn taped to my door, like a literal actual ear of corn just taped to the door. No message or anything. And then they start mispronouncing words on purpose. They'll say like, "Mr. Cox, good corning." Or, "What did you say? Good morning, Mr. Cox." Things like that, just to drive me crazy. And then they started making the Photoshop projects. Oh, the Photoshop projects. Like they would give a horse sticking out his forehead. There's corn. They said, and then they called it a unicorn all the time. They would give me cornrows, like literal cornrows and things like that. And then they started bringing it to my house where I live. On my doormat, there would be like a dang ear of corn in the morning before where I live here. How do they know where I live? And then I get messages from my principal, not this principal, but another principal, and its title is like Corntastic. Like that's not even a word. I'll go to my neighborhood pool, and it's the summer, not school time, and it's me and my daughters and 3 strangers I have never seen in my life. And across the pool, one of them's like, "Corn, corn, I don't know you." It's all the time. I'll go to watch a play. Everybody gets a program. Here's a program. Here's a program. Thank you for coming. I walk by, corn, like a one-word conversation. "Who even are you?" I'll go to Publix. One time I went to Publix to get Cocoa Puffs. I just want some dang Cocoa Puffs. And then guess what? The phone rings by the cashier. That never had. I didn't know they had phones. They do. She picks up her phone and she looks at me and she nods and she puts it back up and she goes, "I think you forgot some corn." Who called you? Who called you just now? How can this be? I think this happened. I think it did. Over the 14 years, you start to wonder about some stuff. One day, I'm pretty sure I put my hand in my pocket and there were giblets of corn in there.
His students have tortured him for many years through many different medias. There are countless design projects that incorporate his true disgust for this vegetable.
So anyway, here we are, 14 years later, and now they make it out. It's like I'm a crazy person. Teenagers did this to me.
I'm Wesley Ann Barnes from Auburn High School, and this has been the Corn Saga.
Let's go, bring it on. Better give us what we want. It's the one for the crown. If you don't, it's going down. Let's go.
Let's ride. Love the Lamborghini.